Well, hello there. Welcome. It is officially 3 o'clock Eastern Time. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jer Bear. Today is Sunday, September 18th, 2022. It's great to be back. I had taken last week off because I was away. I was on vacation. I was in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and it was a lot of fun. There's so much to get to in this week's Sunday video update. You'll have to excuse the noise coming from the fan down here. It's kind of warmish in here, and I need some air to stay cool as I'm doing this. Dad and Amy are gone, so I'm flying solo again this week for this edition of the Sunday video update. I hope you've all been doing well out there. I hope you've been spending time with family and friends, people you love, enjoying the weekend, enjoying time together, getting in the last plans of summer before we enter into the official start of autumn, which I'm really actually excited for. I'm looking forward to the cooler, crisper air that's going to be settling in as a result of autumn. Some of the leaves are turning colors already. Some fall foliage is starting to show in northern Michigan. And speaking of that, I want to start this Sunday video update off by talking about last week's vacation in the Upper Peninsula. It was a great time. I hung out with some friends of mine who live in Iron Mountain, and we've been staying in touch ever since. I've been to their house 3 times now. I think it's been 3 times, maybe 4, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it's 3 times. It's the 3rd time I've been there. It's been fantastic. We went sightseeing. I went to Marquette for the first time. I went to Ishpeming and Negaunee and checked out some really cool stuff. Enjoyed lunch, had great company. It was all just a wonderful time. Peninsula. And on the way back home, I decided to take a scenic route, and I come down US 31 from Mackinac City after I crossed the Mackinac Bridge, came down through Petoskey and Charlevoix, and eventually ended up in Traverse City. So if you remember correctly, I was planning a trip to Traverse City and then got sidetracked with other things because I didn't have the money and I had to, have repairs done on my vehicle. But this time I made it happen. So it was 2 birds, 1 stone. And I've never been to Petoskey or Charlevoix prior to last week. So it was great. I saw a lot of different things when I was in Traverse City. I checked out Cherry Capital Airport, and from there I stopped in to visit with my mom for a few minutes, and it was pretty good. I didn't get home until late on Sunday, so there was no way I could have done the Sunday video update last week, because this time last week I was gone. I was coming home from my vacation in the Upper Peninsula, but I had a great time, and I can't wait to get back to see my friends again. I was hoping to see another Cancer Warrior, but things are kind of hectic in their life right now. They had other things I had to get done. Things happen, home renovation and work and school and all that stuff, which is totally understood. There's always going to be next time. I will make a trip back to Iron Mountain in the Upper Peninsula, and we're going to have a great time. I can't wait to meet the other Cancer Warrior. It's going to be fun. So that's to conclude that. I'm sure I'll probably go back and talk more about that within the next hour, because I'll be here until 4 o'clock today. Dad and Amy went over to Grandpa's old house to take care of something. I think that's where they went. I'm not sure, but he mentioned that anyway. So I'm flying solo again this week. Yesterday was the memorial for my dearly departed friend. Her name is Tasha Kindy. She passed away on August 14th. That was on a Sunday as a result of cancer. She was 35 years old. I went to Midland yesterday because I thought there were going to be funeral services, and I misread the obituary. There were no funeral services for her. There were none planned, none scheduled, but they did have a memorial at, I think it was her mom's house. I don't know for sure if it was her mom's house, but I'm pretty sure it was. But I went there. They had like a potluck, which was around 2 o'clock. I sat under a tent at a table. There were people that I didn't know a single person. And, but I listened to them talk about Tasha, and it was more about Jesus this and Jesus that, which so, okay, whatever. But they did have a display for Tasha. They had the picture of her kissing the fish, which is her current profile picture on Facebook. And so they did all that. They had food. I had a plate of food, can of Mountain Dew. They didn't have Pepsi, so Mountain Dew had to suffice. And I talked to Tasha's 10-year-old nephew. His name is Roscoe, but they all call him Rocky. And I was just having a brief conversation with him, and he's very wise beyond his years. Because I told him, I said, well, your Aunt Tasha and I used to know each other back when we were your age. So it's been 25 years, and he's kind of raised his eyebrows. He goes, wow, I didn't know you knew her when she was a kid. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we met each other back in school, and we were, friends all the way to the end. And I told him, I expressed my condolences and my sympathies towards Rocky, and he says, I'm okay. He says, that's just something all living things do. They have to die eventually. And I'm just kind of, you're right. I mean, you're only 10 years old, but you are absolutely right. But it was just really cool. It was that brief philosophical conversation I had with a 10-year-old. It's like, I'm having this talk with a 10-year-old. Okay. But it was okay. I mean, I enjoyed seeing some of the pictures, and, it was nice. So I was in Midland yesterday twice. For those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, you probably noticed that I was in my suit and tie getup and I wore a fedora. Well, the only reason I dressed up like that is because I thought for sure that there were going to be funeral arrangements for Tasha, and as it turns out, there wasn't. So I came back home real quick, changed into some regular clothes, and went back for the memorial. So yesterday was a busy day of running. Today I'm just kind of hanging back and just relaxing for a while. So on Wednesday, I think Wednesday's the 21st, if I remember the calendar. This Wednesday will be 33 years since my Broviac came out, since my treatment ended. And that's probably going to be the last thing I talk about during the month of September, this being Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, because I don't want to continually drone on and drown out my Facebook with nothing but childhood cancer talk. I have refrained from talking about it, largely in part because nobody gives a fuck. And that's just the truth of the matter. Nobody cares. So I just, screw it. I'm done. I talked about key points, things that I wanted to talk about, and whether or not anybody cares, that's up to them. But I decided that I'm just not going to talk about it anymore because I'm living my life, and my life doesn't revolve around childhood cancer. Although I do have limitations as a result of long-term after effects from treatment, I'm still getting out, living my life, doing my thing. I'm still hanging with friends, seeing family. I'm doing everything I can, everything and anything possible under the sun, the thing I'm allergic to. I'm trying to live my life the best as I can. And I don't want for everything to be correlated back to, that. So, and I'm trying to show my friends on Facebook that you don't have to talk about it. You're under no obligation to speak about things like that. If you want to just go on living your normal daily lives, do it. You don't owe that to anybody. You don't owe your allegiance, which I think was what I pointed out in the last Sunday video I did, which was 2 weeks ago. You don't owe your allegiance. And what I mean by that is you're not required or obligated, even as someone from the childhood cancer world, you are not required to sit and talk about, things that happened years ago. You're not required to reminisce. And I know that that's going to, stroke an ass hair on somebody, and they're going to get really flipped out fucking mad about this, but it's too bad. Speaking as a survivor, I can say you're not obligated to talk about it at all. Even if it is September, You're not required to talk about it. So that the last post I'm going to talk about, by choice, by the way, is when my port come out. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, you're already going to know what I'm going to discuss on Wednesday, talking about my Broviac being removed, and that'll be it. I'm not saying another word about childhood cancer for the rest of the month. You know what I haven't heard? And this just came to my mind. The one thing I have not heard about from any of my friends is that CareFest garbage that usually happens during the month of September, because it is garbage. I don't support it, never have, never will. Until such time as we actually have a panacea for childhood cancer, then I don't support CareFest. It is a shit show. It is a conglomeration of people who have insecurity issues and they want to be number one in everything. And you know, everything to do with childhood cancer, they want to be number one. They are constantly competing with one another. They don't allow for that to be shown, not publicly, but deep down, you know, yeah, there's this competition going on. And you know, it shouldn't be that way. You can't call yourself a community but then, you know, compete with each other. It just doesn't work that way. But we do not have a cure for childhood cancer, not all cancers. And I don't support this notion that we do. I will never support the notion that we do until we actually do. And I pointed out 2 weeks ago that I don't support this notion that awareness leads to cures. I have yet to see evidence or data for that. And I know there's going to be, excuse me, there's going to be a lot of people who are pissed at me, and they are going to breathe down my neck about this, but the truth is the truth. And I can tell you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, I can tell you as a fact that other people also think this way. I have, damn it, I have actually made people think about what they're posting, because I had to go through that. I had to think about what it was I was saying for so many years, because I felt as though I was being programmed or told that I had to say these things. And then I started taking charge of my own life and doing things on my own, to my own accord, helping people as I saw fit. And that seemed to have ticked a lot of people off, because I didn't follow with their, you know, their adopted way of thinking. And I deviated myself from that. I divorced myself from this bullshit going on over here. And I showed everybody else that, you know what? I am capable of thinking for myself. I do not believe the same things you believe. I do not believe, I'm not convinced that awareness leads to cures. I'm just not convinced. Now, if that is the case, and we have evidence and data to support that, direct me to that. Let me examine it. And if I'm wrong, then I'll correct it. I'll say, you know what? I was wrong about that. I actually have evidence and data supporting the claim that awareness leads to cures, and then I'll change my stance on that. But until such time, I'm not convinced. So, but y'all have fun at CareFest. Y'all virtue signal and have fun and talk about irrelevant stuff and compare clothing, and you know, you do you. But I'm going to be laughing through the bullshit, because I can see through the bullshit. And you can keep the beliefs, the programmable beliefs that you have espoused over the years. You can be someone's personal little fucking hand puppet, where they stick their hand straight up your ass and make you say whatever they want you to say. You can be that person. I'm not. Congratulations. You should be proud of yourself because you have allowed for someone to dictate how you think and feel. And a lot of people misconstrue this as, well, Jared is anti-cure. And that's not the case at all. Jer Bear is anti-bullshit. And that is more accurate. And like I said, I have I've inspired a lot of people to actually think about what they're saying before they say it. And truth be told, looking through my Facebook, I've noticed that there's not many people who are talking about childhood cancer at all. They're actually, the posts about childhood cancer are very few and far between. And these are people I've known for years. So maybe, just maybe, some things that I've said, whether it be here on my YouTube channel or on Facebook, maybe it had inspired people enough to think, well, you know what? Jared's right. We don't have to talk about this. It's the month of September, but we don't have to reminisce and go down memory lane each and every fucking September. We can just live our lives as if it's another day, and it is another day. And we shouldn't be wasting the days and the time that we have focused on the tragedies of yesterday. We should be focused on today, here and now. And my door is always open for people who have questions or comments or concerns about anything I say between here and Facebook. I'm always within reach. Everybody knows that. I'm not hard to find. But it's okay to say I'm done talking about this subject. and I'll be okay with that. I'm starting to think that Hawaiian Punch was a bad idea for a choice of drink. I should have just drank water because now it's triggering the sinuses draining. So I do apologize for the constant cough and clearing my throat. It didn't happen until I started drinking the Hawaiian Punch. But so yeah, those are my thoughts on that. It's pretty much the same as a couple weeks ago when I did the Sunday video update. And I think I've inspired a lot of people to actually kind of rethink and to retrace their steps and to look back and think, well, you know what? I used to say this, and I know exactly what Jared is saying. We don't have to talk about childhood cancer. We don't have to talk about the things that cause me anxiety. We don't have to talk about that. Now, if they choose to talk about that on their Facebook, that's entirely up to them, but they are not required to do so. I'm not required to do so. But these people who attend CureFest, oh yeah, they have an agenda. They have a reputation to uphold. And they all act as though they've done it on their own, especially these people with nonprofit organizations. They act as though they've gotten to where they are on their own. They've had all kinds of help. They've earned the trust and the respect of so many people. And then behind the scenes want to act like total assholes with me because I conflict with what they think and what they feel, even as a childhood cancer survivor. So what does that tell you? That you're not allowed to think or feel differently because if it deviates from what everybody else over here is thinking and feeling, you're the enemy. Well, I was never an enemy. However, the truth may be their enemy. And the truth is just something that I happen to speak among people who claim to know the truth. And they hide and run from the truth. See, for those of you who don't know, a guy named Mike Gillette and I had a falling out some years ago. He's the big old brain, the big cheese behind the True 365, which is a bunch of bullshit too. But he actually told one of my then friends that he was going to call the police on me, and he had no legal standing or grounding to do so. And This is the kind of mentality that I've been speaking of for any number of years. You get people who are so full of shit, they are so full of themselves that they think they can tread all over people without consequence, and they think they can treat people like shit because they let all this popularity and fame go to their heads. Well, Mr. Gillette found out that I'm not the one you fuck with. And Tom Mitchell found out I'm not the one you fuck with. Ronnie Duvall found out I'm not the one you fuck with. So, and as a matter of fact, as I pointed out in the Daily Rant, the most recent Daily Rant, someone, anytime someone tells me that they're not going to argue with me, that is a fiat declaration that they have lost the argument, because anybody who says, well, I'm not going to argue with you on this, clearly there's no argument because you fucking lost the argument. So, and that pisses people off because they think they got their gotcha moment. Well, you don't. You didn't, and you don't. And when you get in a position where you have all this popularity and all this fame, whatever that's supposed to be, you tend to act differently, especially when a camera is pointed at you. But behind the scenes, as I pointed out, behind the scenes, you are a fake, two-faced piece of shit motherfucker who's going to treat people like crap because that's your at-home mentality. That's the way you are in real life, at home. But when you're at the podium or when you're on the news, when you've got a camera aimed in your face, suddenly your attitude changes. You want to put on a show and act like, oh yeah, I love people so much. And we, the save the world fucking mentality, which, it's like you two-faced lying piece of shit. Your sophistry does not impress me, nor should it impress anyone else. And I'm not afraid to call those people out. And that's one of the reasons why they have, I guess, axed me from the community. It never was a community to begin with. As I've been referring to it for any number of months now, because actually I think it's been a few years now, because after I quit advocacy, when I declared moratorium on advocacy in 2019, I started to refer to it as a demographic rather than a community. And then Tom Mitchell picked up on that by calling it a demographic. Nice try. That would be the appropriate, more befitting term to describe the particular group of people who are in this so-called exclusive club. It's not a club. I don't, a club is something you want to join, not something that you are inherently a part of or organically a part of. It's one of those things where I don't want to be here, but I am here. But, and that would be, that would describe a demographic. Like, I'm a part of this particular group of people. I don't want to be, but I am. Organically, naturally, I am. A club is something that you want to join. You join, the local, you get a membership at the local gym, at the fitness center where you go to work out and do exercises. You join little, clubs, groups, street gangs, that kind of thing. Those are something that you wish to join. Childhood cancer is not something that anyone wishes to join. We are all here organically. That's why it's a demographic. That's why it is what it is, truly what it is. It's not a community. There's no such community with childhood cancer. And it's such a loaded word, because community, as I've pointed out any number of times, when you break the word in half, you have come, as in come together, and unite, unity being the suffix of the word, come together and unite. That only works for people who are reaping the benefits of popularity, because when they attend the KeerFest events, oh, it's so great, and the popularity is just so fanciful because I can't help myself for being such an amazing wannabe person that I know I'm not, but I'm going to put on the show for these other people just to, let my ego get the best of me. I don't have an ego. I don't have an ego. And because I never have a barrier in front of me stopping me from saying what needs to be said. Whether it pisses people off or not, that's their problem. But this is how it really and truly is, and I'm speaking on behalf of those people who are too afraid to speak up in fear of backlash. I don't give a fuck what anybody says about me personally. Because every time they come up with some claim about me, I always back them into a corner. I trap them with logic and critical thinking, and then they clam the fuck up. They don't say another word. But it is interesting to see how people will react and behave to a camera when a camera's in their face. Like, I'm looking into a camera right now, but that doesn't mean that I'm a different person. I'm the same person as I've always been. But I'm not going to pretend to like a motherfucker just because the camera's in my face. If I don't like you, I don't fucking like you. And that's the end of that. But it's really, human behavior is fascinating, and people will do anything to be number one. There's this neurotic need to be number one all the time. This fixation on number one, especially with childhood cancer awareness, because everybody wants to be a hero. Everybody wants to fly in with their cape, and they want to save the day, so to speak. They want to be like Captain America or Flash Gordon and sweep in and protect the kids from the bad guy being childhood cancer. Y'all are fucking delusional. You need to grow up. This is not a comic strip world we live in. This is reality. And yeah, so I've said quite a bit. But there's truth to it. There's a lot of truth to that. And I don't have a problem saying it. So, oh well, people get mad. They'll stay mad or get over it. It's these people who, especially at KeerFest, they have delusions of grandeur. They just can't help themselves. And like I said, I've never been invited to a KeerFest. Really not interested in going to a KeerFest. I couldn't give a fuck less about KeerFest. Because I'm trying to know that, like, they have the face painting, and they have the musical talent show up. What does face paint and musical talent have to do with raising awareness of childhood cancer? What does it have to do with anything? They make it they make it look as though childhood cancer is a circus, because only at a fucking circus do you get face paint. This isn't a circus. This is not a show. And that's really the thing that irks me so much about shit like KeerFest and all these people who want to put on the show like it's some great big circus. It's just ridiculous to me. I can't support. I cannot get behind something like that. And not everybody sees it the way I see it, because they haven't had to walk directly in my shoes as a survivor. Now, most people listen to what I say, or they read my Facebook posts, and they actually understand what I'm trying to get at. There's nothing funny or humorous or whimsical or satirical about being sick. There's nothing about any of this that's good or positive. So let's stop pretending as though it is. But I've wasted probably a good 20 minutes talking about things that I have reiterated and rehashed time and time and time again, and I'm just really exhausted talking about it. But see, I don't have help here today. So if Dad and Amy were here, I would be talking about something entirely different, which I'm not. But anyway, moving on, and I just remembered something else I can talk about. I got to visit with my family, some relatives of mine who live over by Birch Run. Their names are Lou and Debbie Fuller. They're cousins of mine. Lou's nickname is Butch because my grandpa Fuller always called him Butch. And he was telling me stories about when he was drafted into, I think he said, the Navy. And it was during the Vietnam War. And President Nixon at the time had said that the Vietnam War was over. So they let my cousin Butch out 4 months early. He was, in the Navy, but they let him home 4 months early because Nixon declared that the Vietnam War was over. So, and that was a nifty little story. I thought that was cool. So I had a cousin who could have fought in Vietnam, but didn't. So it was nice just to visit and to catch up and talk about some things, like with my grandpa passing away. Butch took it really hard because he and my grandpa were really close. They were cousins, and they used to play poker together all the time. And, they spent a lot of time together, my grandpa and my cousin Butch. They spent quite a bit of time together. But when grandpa died, Butch had taken it exceptionally hard because of how close they were. And I told him, I said, well, I was there when, we found him dead on his kitchen floor, and they never did an autopsy. They never did anything. We actually requested, we demanded that they did an autopsy, and for some reason did not do an autopsy. And now we're left speculating for the rest of our natural lives on how Grandpa Fuller died. We'll never know. And it's going to be in the back of our minds for the longest time. And I don't know. Well, I did find out something, but I'm not going to mention it here. But it was a little detail that I found to be rather interesting, and I'm just not going to say it here because I don't want to get trouble started. Believe it or not, I'm not a troublemaker. I like to fill people in, my viewers, and my friends on Facebook who might watch this channel. They might know that this channel exists. They come here and watch my videos. I just like to fill people in on what's going on because I don't know what it is about me and my life that people find to be so interesting. I don't know what prompted me to want to do Sunday video updates. I've been doing this for a very long time. I guess I'm really not sure. I mean, this is my channel. People come and go on their own free will at any time. I don't tell them they can't go. I don't tell them they have to be here. They can come and go as they please. They can subscribe, unsubscribe, whatever. But this is my channel. And I figure, well, why not just use this platform to talk about my life and to upload random content, make it interesting. And just, as long as it's within the community guidelines of YouTube, then I'll be fine. But I just don't want to overstep the boundaries. I don't think I have any strikes on this channel, by the way, because I'm usually within reason, and I try to keep things within the community standards. But I guess because I see other people doing it, like they do the vlogs or whatever, they give weekly updates on what's going on in their lives and how they, what they're up to, and they kind of grow an audience like I have. I've grown an audience. I don't have delusions of grandeur. I don't think I'm above or, better than anybody else. I know I'm not better than anybody else, but it just so happens that I have friends out there who watch YouTube, and they also happen to know that this channel exists, and they come and listen to me speak. Sometimes they'll come into the chat room and say hello, which, by the way, chat log is open, and you will behave yourself or I'll kick your ass out. I will evict you. But yeah, I don't know. I have a following. I have lots of friends. There's people who watch me and listen to me daily, or weekly, I should say, not daily, but so I guess I kind of stuck with it. It's like, well, I can make this a Sunday thing, and then the daily rants will just be whatever, whenever, kind of on the fly. So that way it's just more convenient and it's more easier to get the messages out, kind of give people an idea of what I'm thinking and feeling or what's going on in my life. And so that's why I just decided to stick with this channel and just to, give an update and to talk about things, which I appreciate everybody coming to watch my videos. I don't expect it all the time, but I'm sure out of the almost 350 current subscribers I have, there's one person watching right now. Maybe it's me. I don't know. But there's, pretty good bet that there's people watching. They're listening to what I have to say. They're trying to get information by watching my Sunday video updates, which is why I don't give names and I don't always announce plans that I have. And I do have more plans lined up to hang out with friends, with people. Yes. But I'm not going to give location. I'm not going to give names. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, because that's between me and the people that I'm going to be hanging with. And we're going to be planning like a little pizza party. We're all going to get together, have a pizza party, talk about things, maybe get some pictures taken, I hope. And there's going to be other states that I visit. I've got a lot going on. I've got a lot of plans to meet up with people. I've got so many different places lined up. It doesn't stop. So I just have to be very wise with my finances and save up some money for plane tickets. And that's probably what I'm going to be doing in starting in 2023. I'm just going to be saving money and, there's places I want to go, people I want to see, things I want to do. And that's probably what I'm going to be doing. There's other states that I am planning to visit, places I've never been before and I would like to see. So my life doesn't stop just because there's people out there who have a vendetta against me and they have nothing better to do than to monitor my YouTube channel. And they try to get hints and clues into my life. And the truth is I only share what I choose to share. And now I have to be very careful and, selective in the things I share and the names I mention, the people I talk about, the people I talk to. So I just have to be really careful. That's all. But, all things considered, everything's going well. I can't say everything because I did find out last week that my mom has bladder cancer. And she's got to go back in 6 months to find out the severity of the cancer. Are they going to administer treatment, or is it something that's not serious and that, they can just, kind of watch it from a distance? Are there certain things that she can eat, certain things that she can, certain activities that she should be doing or whatever the case may be? They're just going to wait for 6 months to see if there's any progression or if it's stable or if the cancer is subsiding. It's been something that's been in the back of my mind ever since I found out. I'm not worried, but I am concerned because the word cancer, there's nothing positive about it. There's nothing good to it. And as many of you know, I'm just taking one day at a time and I'm playing everything by ear and I'm waiting to see what my mom has to say. Because I did see Mom last week when I was coming home from my vacation in the Upper Peninsula, and she was in a lot of pain. She had a catheter. Well, that catheter came out on Monday. And that's when she found out that she has bladder cancer, and we're just trying to figure out where do we go from here. Which I'm kind of pissed off at her doctor because he says that he used the word almost, 99% sure that it's not cancer. Well, how are you almost 99% sure. You're either sure or you're not, motherfucker. And that's the one thing that really irks me about people like this in this profession, is that there is no almost of anything. If it's cancer, it's cancer. If it's not, it's not. Which is it? And when I heard the word almost, it's like, that's horse shit. There is no almost to anything. He's almost sure that it's not cancer. Well, if you're almost sure that it's not cancer, then you're pretty sure that it is. I mean, it's one of those things, and I don't know. It upsets me every fucking time I think about it, and I'm trying to be positive for my mom. I'm trying to, be a pillar of strength for her, because she's worried, which she should be. Of course, it's cancer. Anytime that word flies around, I mean, she went through that with me when I was a baby, and now she's going through it as an adult. And I'm concerned. I'm not scared. I'm not worried, but I am concerned. And I reserve the heavy duty feelings until after we find out for sure what's going on, because it wouldn't do any justice to be severely worried about something that may not be. I could get myself worked up into a frenzy thinking that, okay, my mom has a severe case. What am I going to do? I want to spend every waking moment with her. But we don't know the severity yet. We don't know. So we're just going to have to wait for 6 months to go by. And when my mom goes back to her next appointment in Owasso, by the way, we'll go from there. I'll adjust. My feelings will adjust organically on their own. If things are looking not so good, then then maybe I'll start to worry. And I say maybe because what if things go well? Then I won't worry. Then I'll just, it's like, okay, I'll still be concerned, but I'm not incredibly worried about it. It's hard to explain. I know some people may not understand this. Say, well, how can you maybe be worried, or if your mom has cancer? Well, I'll be very worried. If the severity has progressed, I'm concerned that she has cancer, but if it turns out that it's worse than what they originally projected, then I'm going to be worried. But until such time, I'm just concerned. I think that's that would be the strategic stance to take. And I think that's where people get carried away in their emotions. They hear that word cancer, and then they start to panic and get worked up. And it's like, let's listen, because although there is no good kind of cancer, the severity of it may not be what you think. And you're propagating this idea in your own mind, thinking that it's something horrific, when in fact it may not be. It may be benign. It may be easily treatable. It may be whatever. There is no good kind of cancer, but let's wait and see, after 6 months, what's the severity of the situation. And that's where I'm at. That's the stance I'm taking, which I think would be appropriate. I'm trying to reserve all the heavy duty emotions until after we know for sure what's going on. But I am concerned, and I love my mom dearly, and she's going to be 60 in October. And it's just weird that my parents are both going to be in their 60s. Time really flies when you blink your eyes. That's what I always tell my friends, because their kids are growing. And it's like, well, it seems like yesterday you were just turning 11 and now you're 19. Well, you blink your eyes and time goes by so fast at the blink of an eye. You got to stop blinking your eyes, but we can't stop blinking our eyes. That's not possible. So yeah, there's a lot going on. But all in all, for the most part, for me anyway, I'm doing pretty good. I'm kind of tired today. I've been doing a lot of running. I've been a busybody this past week. Lots going on. I haven't been out to Billy's in over a month. I'm thinking tomorrow I might run out there and see what's going on if I got the gas. Because there's people out there I haven't seen in over a month. I miss my friends. I miss Dan Richards. I miss Kenny and Terry and Melissa and Key and all the friendly wait staff at Billy's. I miss everybody, and I miss listening to music and having fun with friends. I miss it all. So if I can swing it tomorrow, I will be out to Billy's, which is at the corner of M57 and M54. It's east of Clio, corner of Saginaw Road and Vienna Road. And that's probably where I'll be. We'll see what happens if I don't have any other plans. But I'm just staying busy, trying to have fun, trying to live my life, and everything's going good for the most part. I've been talking with my girlfriend and Messenger. Next month, I'm going to be heading down there to where she lives to get together, probably make dinner plans or whatever. With her and her son that I have not yet met. But I am looking forward to it, and we're going to have fun. We're going to hang out, and we're going to, I don't know, make plans for dinner or just like a date, go out and have fun. I don't know how most guys are. They're like, well, can't you find a sitter for the kid? Why not just you and the mother? Well, I understand that, and maybe eventually in the relationship we might get to that point. There's no guarantees, but her son is autistic, and his cares and needs and things like that are very much prevalent in his mother's life, and I'm dating his mother. So her son comes first. That's her baby. And, we'll iron out details, and we'll figure out something along the way as time progresses. But I don't want her choosing me over her child. I want her to always be her son's rock, so to speak. He is number one. And I made that abundantly clear when we first started dating and making our relationship official. I told her that your son comes first. I mean, his needs and wants have to come first before me. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Worry about your son. I still love you. I still want to hang out with you and have dinner and just chill, enjoy each other's company. Kick back and chill, that kind of thing. I'm down with that always. But your son comes first. Don't put your son on the back burner. Don't put me or prioritize me over your child. Please don't do that. And she understands, and we're on that level in our relationship, on the same page of that understanding when it comes to her son. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe in October next month, if the bills figure out correctly, because we did get our light bill, and then I got a few other bills I got to pay, but it's looking promising next month. I'll see what I can do about getting down there and spending some time with her, and because I really would like to see her before the snow starts flying, because I'm not really a fan of winter. I don't like to drive in the snow if I don't have to. Although I know how to drive in the snow, if I can help it, I won't. So unless we get warm enough weather to where all the snow and ice melts, the relationship will probably have to be, just talking through Messenger. At least we're communicating, at least we're staying in contact with each other, and we can video chat. Of course, there's always that option, but I prefer just, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And she knows that I'm not really a fan of driving in the winter because of all the snow and the ice, and the roads get really, really horrible in the Metro Detroit area. So I'm going to avoid that at all costs if possible. I'm going to adjust my mic here. There we go. That sounds a little better. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've had a girlfriend, and it actually feels great. actually feels pretty good. I'm not complaining. I love the girl that I'm with. She's got some personal issues that she's working through, and I'll support her all the way, and I love to see her win. I want to see her succeed, and she knows that I'm going to support her no matter what, and I'm always going to be there when she needs me. If I can't physically be there, I'll be here so she can talk, or of course video chat, hit me up a messenger, text message, whatever. Email makes not one iota of difference. She knows that I'm here for her always, and we love each other, so that's always the important thing. So let's see. I'm trying to. So much has been going on. So much has happened over the past week. I'm trying to think because there's so many different things, and when I'm done with the Sunday video update, it's all going to come to me. I always talk about, okay, I want to write down the things I'm going to talk about, the subjects or topics I'm going to touch on, and then I never fucking do. And then when I get right into it, about a half hour or so into the show, I run out of things to say. And it's like, I really got to start writing this shit down, because there's lots of other things that I totally and completely, it just zonk out on. But in other, actually, okay, I can talk about this. I've been hanging out with my friends in Chesaning. It's been interesting. I'm thinking one of these times, having like a little pizza party or something up there at the park. Me and my buddies, and probably Dad and Amy, if they want to join us. I'll order some pizza and get some pop, and we can sit under the pavilion at Cole Park and have some pop and pizza, which sounds like a winner to me. Sounds like an idea to me, but I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm always looking to have fun and enjoy the time that I have with friends and family and people who want me around, which, I didn't suspect that there were so many people who actually loved me and supported me and shown this. I didn't think there were so many people out there, but there are. And, I'm being myself all the time. I'm never pressed on religious or political discussion, which is why I never talk about it on Facebook. And I talk about religion at times on this channel here, but I don't like to talk about politics because I'm not political. I don't know what's taboo and what's not. And if I say something I'm not supposed to say, YouTube's going to have a shit storm about that. And I just don't want to deal with that. So I just leave politics. I try to leave religion off the table because I don't want it to be any surprise. Oh, Jared's an atheist. Like, why didn't we know this? Why doesn't he ever talk about it? Because it's just not important. It's just not, it's not a big deal. I mean, I'm not saying there is no God. I'm just not convinced that there is a God, which is not the same thing. Not being convinced of X is not the same thing as saying X does not exist. That's a whole nother conversation. But I am thoroughly not interested in talking about politics or religion, especially on Facebook. But there are lots of people, lots of my friends on Facebook are religious. I'm not going to, give them any shit for being Christian or theist or whatever. That's totally and entirely up to them completely. How they choose to conduct their lives is entirely up to them, but just don't try to drill it into me, because then we're going to run into problems. We're going to have a discussion. We're going to have another one of those. Well, this is the end of this conversation. I'm not going to argue with you. Yes, you're not going to argue with me because you've lost the fucking argument. So yeah, you're conceding. Well, congratulations, whatever. But anyway, I don't know how long I've been here. Oh, we're almost at the end of the show already. That hour goes by quick. 2 viewers. Hello, 2 viewers. So we're down to the last 5 minutes of the show. And I just wanted to thank all of you for stopping by and indulging me for this last hour. I've just been so busy, and like I said, I lose track of time a lot of the time. Like I get so busy, involved in doing other things, hanging out with friends, and just doing stuff back and forth all the time. I'm constantly busy, and then I just kind of lose track of, like, oh shit, today's already Sunday. Like it totally blew my mind. I just totally forgot, man. I don't know, but here we are. It's another Sunday. Next Sunday is the 25th of September. Amy has an appointment coming up in Ann Arbor next on October 4th, I think it is, at 12:30. She will be seeing an oral surgeon, I believe, down at U of M. And I don't know what else is going on other than Amy just having her appointment in Ann Arbor. But she will be at the oral surgeon on October 4th, 12:30 p.m. So that's where I'll be. I'll be in Ann Arbor. It's not on a Sunday, of course. It's a weekday, but that's where I'll be. So I've pretty much been all over this state, top to bottom. And matter of fact, my friends who live in Iron Mountain in the Upper Peninsula, they had even said something about taking me up to the Keweenaw Peninsula, which if you look at a map of Michigan, like the Mackinac Bridge would be down here, and this would be the very tip of the Upper Peninsula. You got Lake Superior. Up here is the Keweenaw Peninsula. They call it Copper Country because you got Copper Harbor and Houghton and Hancock up here. So they were talking about taking me all the way up to Keweenaw County in the uppermost part of the Upper Peninsula, which is going to be sweet. It'll be even, I love Marquette, but this might actually top Marquette by very, very much because that's open water from the very tip of the Upper Peninsula. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. So we're down to the last 3 minutes. I just wanted to once again thank all of you so much for joining me for this week's edition of the Sunday Video Update. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jer Bear. Awaiting comment from my dad, who, well, he's not here. So we're not going to get any comment from my dad. We're not going to get any comment from Amy either because they are both gone. I think they went out to my Grandpa Fuller's old homestead. Anyway, that's what he said. That's what he mentioned, that he said he was going there. I'll probably be out at Billy's Pine Run Inn tomorrow for the Monday flashback with Dan Richards. So I really owe them a visit. I haven't been out there in over a month, and I really got to get out there and see my friends because I miss them. I miss my friends. I haven't seen them in such a long time. I miss everybody. Dan was actually, I think, gone last week too. Was it last week or the week before? He was out in Connecticut, but now he's back in Michigan, and I've never left Michigan. I've been in Michigan the whole time. I just haven't been to Billy's. The dogs are going nuts out there. I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to be wrapping up this Sunday video update because we are down to the final minutes and seconds of another show, another week of man, the time just drags, doesn't it? The last few minutes just drags. And yeah. So what do I do? Just blankly stare into the camera until the last 2 minutes are no. I don't want to do that. Everything for overall, generally speaking, everything in my life is going pretty good right now. I got a girlfriend. I love her so much. I have not been in love with someone in such a long time that it's great to know that someone loves me as much as I love them, and it's a great feeling. It's just nice to know that there's someone out there for me. And if things don't work out between me and this girl, I think we're still going to remain friends because we've gotten to know each other really well, but I think this relationship is going to stick. And at least anyway, I hope so. I want her to have a good experience with me. I want her son to have good, pleasant experiences with me, and get to know me, get to trust me, and so I want to be able to build upon that friendship and that relationship with her son, and to kind of get him used to me, so that way he won't be afraid of me. He can just run up to me and do whatever little boys do, showing love. But we have officially hit the hour mark, and I am going to be out ski. I'm going to make like a newborn and head out. Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next week, which will be Sunday, September 25th, 2022. Have a great week. Look after one another. Be kind to each other, and do things for the right reasons. For crying out loud, we have enough showboaters. Just do things from your heart, not your mind. Much love. Have a great week, and I'll be seeing you. Take care.